probe, it has now taken a dramatic turn after 3 senior IPS officers have received a clean chit, leaving one question unanswered. Who is ultimately responsible for the loss of those 11 precious lives? You're watching In Your Interest with me, Kabir Naqvi. First, the top headlines on your screen. Ramesh Chennithala confirms Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Vijay is now going to join actor Mohanlal under Operation Tufan in the state's fight against drugs. Serious risk to India's largest nuclear power plant, Kudankulam, as a ransomware group allegedly publishes thousands of files including blueprints on the dark web pertaining to this nuclear site. Yet another jolt to Mamata Banerjee, as Mamata's close aide, Madan Mitra, quits the Trinamool Congress, joins hands with the TMC rebel Ritabrata Banerjee. And Centre mulls action against Z5 for streaming Diljit Dosanjh's Tara Satluj. Government likely to bring certification process for streaming films on the OTT platforms as well. That's our first segment, because food has always been a deeply personal choice. But when that choice collides with institutional policy, public health and politics, it quickly becomes a national debate. Tonight, one such controversy is brewing in Lucknow, where King George's Medical University, KGMU, one of India's most prestigious medical institutions, has now decided to stop the cooking and serving of non-vegetarian food in all its hostel messes and canteens. The decision came after Uttar Pradesh Governor Anandiben Patel, during a recent inspection of the campus, raised serious concerns over hygiene standards. She reportedly found expired spices being used in hostel kitchens and questioned the overall quality of food that was being served to the students. Now, the university says the objective of this new order is to improve the food safety, which they've begun instantly, and it has made one thing absolutely clear. Students are still free to order non-vegetarian food from outside or cook it themselves. The restriction applies only to the hostel messes. The official order also states that adequate vegetarian protein alternatives should now be provided to ensure students' nutritional requirements are not compromised. But what began as an administrative decision has now snowballed into a political flashpoint. The Samajwadi Party has termed the move a Tughlaqi diktat, questioning whether governments or institutions should decide what adults or students can or cannot eat. Some religious leaders have also demanded that the order be withdrawn, whereas some clerics are saying it's absolutely fine, let's not politicize this, arguing that dietary choices should remain personal. On the other hand, some saying, let's not politicize this, you can always step out and eat. Now, take a look at this. The BJP leaders have defended the university's autonomy, saying every institution has the right to decide the menu it serves inside its own premises. And that brings us to the larger questions. Is this fundamentally a food safety decision driven by hygiene concerns, or has it become part of the larger ideological debate over food choices in our country? Can an educational institution regulate what it serves in its own messes, especially if alternatives remain available right outside the premises gates? Or does such a decision inevitably cross into the territory of personal liberty? And perhaps most importantly, if the original concern was hygiene and food quality, could those issues have been addressed without banning an entire category of food from the hostel kitchens? Let's separate politics from policy, emotion from evidence, and ask whether this is a reasonable administrative decision or an unnecessary restriction that has opened yet another fault line in India's food politics. With us on the broadcast, Nikhil Jain, political analyst. Many thanks, Nikhil, for taking on the time. And Sanjay Rana, political analyst. Many thanks, Mr. Rana, for taking on the time. Before I come to you, gentlemen, we've got some reactions, coming across from various political stakeholders. Let's listen in to what each side has to say, and then we'll open this up for discourse.
मैं बहुत इसको पॉजिटिव तरीके से लेती हूँ, बहुत वैल्यूबल सजेशन है, बिकॉज देखिए भारत में, हमारी कंट्री में गर्मी कितनी होती है, हाइजीन मेंटेन करना नॉन वेज फूड में मुश्किल है जब मास स्केल पे होता है। नंबर 2, पूरा जिसे कहते हैं वर्ल्ड वेजिटेरियन फूड पे आ रहा है, बिकॉज वेजिटेरियन फूड एक हेल्दी फूड है। इससे जो संभावना होती है फॉर हैविंग गैस्ट्रोइंटेस्टाइनल कैंसर, स्पेशली कोलोनिक कैंसर्स, आप देखते होंगे कि बहुत कम होती है। तो पूरा वर्ल्ड अब वेजिटेरियन फूड पे आ रहा है, तो ये सुझाव और ये उनकी जो सजेशन है ये बहुत ही पॉजिटिव है स्टूडेंट्स के लिए। जो हेल्दी चीज़ जब अपने कंट्री में अवेलेबल है तो हम अनहेल्दी चीज़ क्यों खाएं। और आप जानते हैं कि वेजिटेरियन फूड की कीपिंग क्वालिटी इतनी गर्मी में बहुत अच्छी है, हाइजीन ज़्यादा मेंटेन हो सकता है, वो भी एक एडिड एडवांटेज।
आनंदीबाई पटेल जो उत्तर प्रदेश की गवर्नर हैं, उनका अभी 2 दिन पहले भी एक विवादित बयान था जो बच्चियों को दे के गया था, स्कूल की बच्चियों को लेके। फिर आईएएस पीसीएस की तैयारी करने वाली महिलाओं को लेके उनका बयान आया, और अब जो बयान उनका मौखिक है, अगर उन्होंने कोई आदेश दिया है तो आदेश सरकारों में मौखिक नहीं होता है। आदेश देना है तो लिखित आदेश दीजिए। और किसको किसको आदेश दीजिएगा? उत्तर प्रदेश में जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के विधायक हैं, जो मटन पार्टी में कुर्सियां चलाते हैं, उनके लिए कोई आदेश देंगे क्या आप?
जो सिस्टम है, हर व्यक्ति स्वतंत्र है। निश्चित है कि आप मंदिर में जाएंगे तो वहां अगर ये उम्मीद करेंगे तो असंभव बात है। तो धर्मस्थली जहां जहां है वहां इस तरह की सुविधा नहीं होनी चाहिए।
मोर देन 61% इंडियंस जो हैं वो नॉन वेज हैं, और प्यू रिसर्च सेंटर और जितने भी रिसर्चर्स हैं सब बार बार इस बात को साबित कर चुके हैं। और जाहिर सी बात है कि नॉन वेजिटेरियन जो फूड है वो इंसानों के अपने हेल्थ के लिए फ़ायदेमंद है मेडिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, और उससे लोगों की इम्यूनिटी भी बूस्ट होती है। और फिर इस तरीके के फैसले वो भी अगर KGMU जैसे प्रेस्टिजियस मेडिकल कॉलेजेस में लिए जाएंगे तो ये इससे बहुत ही गलत मैसेज जाएगा। और फिर आप किसी भी डॉक्टर से पूछेंगे कि नॉन वेजिटेरियन आपके सेहत के लिए, हेल्थ के लिए फ़ायदेमंद है कि नहीं है, तो वो यही जवाब देगा कि फ़ायदेमंद है। उसके बावजूद भी अगर मेडिकल कॉलेज में इस तरीके के फैसले होंगे तो इससे बहुत बड़ा एक क्वेश्चन मार्क और सवालिया निशान लगता है। तो लिहाजा मेरी KGMU के एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से यही अपील है कि इस फैसले को वापस लिया जाए।
Well, we've got more reactions, but you get a gist of the kind of politics that's now brewing around this entire topic. Nikhil, what's your take on this? Does this warrant a discussion, or are we trying to make mountains out of molehills? Because on the Libra scales are 2 extreme ends. One is gastro cancer, and the other one is, of course, the protein intake. And when you're talking about, your own growth as human resource of a country. So the university says that this is about hygiene, this is not about ideology. Yet the political reactions, like the viewers have also heard, they've been immediate. Why do food decisions, particularly in our country, quickly and instantly become so political?
Kabir, I think the politicians are going to say whatever that they're going to say. By the way, I could not understand what Mr. Rajbhar was trying to say कि मंदिर में non-veg नहीं मिलेगा तो जहाँ नहीं मिलेगा वहाँ नहीं मिलेगा. To the best of my knowledge, we're talking about university. For some reason, one of the allies of the BJP, a minister in the government, chooses to talk about non-veg being available in temples. Of course, you will not get non-veg in most temples. Let me add the most caveat to that. Number one. Number two, what's most worrying for me is that the kind of statement the vice chancellor of the medical university gave, that non-vegetarian food is bad for your health, it cannot be contained properly, it cannot be stored properly. Are you kidding me? अगर आप पनीर को भी बाहर रखोगे, even that can't be maintained properly. You have to keep food in a certain refrigeration, whether it is milk, whether it is paneer, whether it is a vegetable dish that has been prepared, or whether it is non-vegetarian food. So obviously there is no angle of containing food, storing food, maintaining food, and all of that has been done for decades and decades in this university and other places, right? So far as the angle of it being, not healthy or healthy is concerned, then what? Is the university now going to say chole bhature is unhealthy? Our canteen cannot serve it? samosa is unhealthy, our canteen cannot serve it. Bhujia is unhealthy, our canteen cannot serve it. Is everybody only going to eat boiled vegetables? And if indeed we are talking about only very healthy food, let's allow salami slices also. White meat without any deep frying is very healthy. Doctor suggested it's a good form of protein. Why not that? Fact of the matter is, it is nothing but political.
Well,
It
then
is
comes the
BJP
logistical
imposing
problem of
its
the
will.
refrigeration, doesn't it? I mean, that's the bone of contention right at the
Oh,
start.
so sorry. I forgot that we are not in 2026. We are probably in 1726, and refrigerators have not yet been invented. I mean, this is ridiculous, the kind of things that the BJP is doing. And you know what? I could have still taken it had it been coming from a religious seer who was himself vegetarian. I am, by the way, myself vegetarian. But I would have still understood had it been coming from some religious body that no, eating non-veg is bad. That is why we don't want government university to serve it. All right. I may or may not agree with it, but I could understand it. But who is it coming from? It is coming from the BJP, the same BJP which 2 months ago was roaming around in the streets of Bengal with a fish in their hand. और the same BJP that was going around telling other political leaders, आओ मेरे से मच्छी खाने का competition करो, देखते हैं कौन ज्यादा non-veg खाएगा, कौन ज्यादा mutton खाएगा. Or the same BJP
The
whose sons and
university
daughters
says,
are
Nikhil,
running.
that this is not about ideology. This is about pure play hygiene.
So I think in that case, Kabir, it becomes even more worrying that one of the foremost medical universities of the country cannot maintain hygiene to serve food in its mess. Goodness heavens, what sort of heavens, what sort of hygiene they have in the laboratories that they'd be using for their biological and medical sciences research. It's just bizarre.
All right. Let's bring in Mr. Rana. Mr. Rana, what's your take here? If hygiene was the concern, why target an entire category of food instead of fixing the kitchen per se? I mean, that's one of the responses, and also, of course, echoes the submission of Nikhil here. Improving inspections, penalizing negligence. There is a plethora of options how one can really keep this logistical problem in check. And whilst I'm asking you this, doesn't this now set a precedent where institutions can then increasingly regulate personal choices and personal lifestyle?
Kabir, I fail to understand why we are discussing on this topic. And obviously, when I was a kid, I was into boarding, and I was in Nainital, and I used to get only vegetarian food in my hostels. There's nothing new which is happening. Look at Hansraj College canteen, you'll find all the vegetarian. Look at IIT BH, you will find all the vegetarian. Look at the Sobiti University, you will find all the vegetarian. It's not a matter of vegetarian or non-vegetarian. It's a matter of what quality of food we are providing. If you look at the vegetarian, non-vegetarian between both of them, obviously reduce heart attack is 15 to 20%. If you look at diabetes, vegetarian obviously have a lesser chance than non-vegetarian. So look at the different perspective of eating habits. When we talk about the BJP leaders are roaming around in West Bengal eating, I'm vegetarian, and Nikhil is also vegetarian. You are non-vegetarian. We have a personal choice whether we have to eat or not eat. But when we talk about the institution, obviously they can have a right to govern. They have a right to make the policies. They have look at the number of students, those who are eating or not eating. When I was in college, I used to get only vegetarian food. I used to eat something like egg or something else to go out and have egg or meat. Right now, I'm absolutely vegetarian. So everything is depend upon the policies. Number one, why it's coming all for debate is because of Anandi Bain belongs to Bharatiya Janata Party. That's why all the question coming around and just jumping on it. It's nothing. It's been there in India. Most of the institutions, I can name any 10 to 15 institutions, those who are very famous and we know very well whether they are serving non-veg and vegetarian food. Look at the institution. Look at the army. Obviously, in army, I'm not saying 100% vegetarian, but it's the days you'll get vegetarian, there's the days you'll only non-veg. So every institution make the policy, and if they are requesting to make such kind of policy, looking at the parameter of the hygiene, number one, looking at the parameter for the health, what's wrong in that implementing as a vegetarian? And I don't see there's anything. And when you talk about the population, I was hearing some Maulana, 61% log non-veg खाते. What the nonsense is talking about in Uttar Pradesh? Look at the Uttar Pradesh. 45% is
that Muslim scholar was citing the Pew, a Pew research and a Pew study.
No. It's the wrong research. Pew research. I can give a research right now.
Okay.
When you were talking about Nikhil, I was reading the articles only. So 50 to 55% is non-vegetarian and 40 to 45% vegetarian.
Mr. Rana, I absolutely appreciate you doing due diligence and you reading articles and everything also. also. Okay, first and foremost, Mr. Rana, let's list out those institutions where you're saying, you get absolute vegetarian
Yeah, absolutely.
food.
Hansraj
Yeah.
College,
Okay,
BHU, IIT, BHU, Sobeti University,
all right.
Birla Vidya Mandir, Nainital. I'm just giving a couple of institutions whom I know very well. Look
Okay.
at the Guwahati
And of course the health aspect, and I think
No,
Nikhil
the
pointed
policy
out
is
that
not
you have
health. Number one,
samosas, you have
please
chola
understand
bhaturas,
Kabir,
you have a lot of vegetarian
Kabir,
items
Kabir,
that
Kabir,
also
understand.
cause heart attacks as
Yeah,
well.
agree. Kabir, understand there's two things.
Yeah,
None of the institution mess is going to provide chola bhatura every day. Once in a blue moon, look at the menu card of any institution, whether it's college or school hostel, you'll find hardly once in a month, maybe fortnightly, you get chola bhatura. I don't see that because I have done my education on the boarding, so I know what.
Me too, sir. Me too. I studied in a boarding school for 9 years, but I'm saying, you see, the thing is that when it comes to non-vegetarian food, I don't think it's always on the menu. It's not on the menu each day of the week. That counts for a different kind of an expense sheet.
Once in a week. If the institutions making policy no non-vegetarian, I think we should not make unnecessary noise. Try to understand what trust is trying to communicate.
Nikhil,
and then take it accordingly.
Yeah, what do you make of what Mr. Rana here is saying? And the order clearly states, Nikhil, that you're not barred from eating non-vegetarian food. You can cook it yourself. If you want to eat it, you can step outside the university and do it. What's wrong with that?
Kabir, I'm sure within less than a year, you'd be doing a show where somebody in this university will be arrested for cooking non-vegetarian food in their own, hostel room or somewhere else in the hostel. See, this is absolutely ridiculous. You are saying that you cannot have a single meal of non-vegetarian food in the mess of the hostel of the university, but somehow the students are allowed to cook it themselves in their own premises. I don't think that is how it is going to proceed. Also, so far as the data is concerned, NHFS 5 data says that 75%, not 61, 75% of Indians are indeed non-vegetarian. And just look around in the circle around you, whether Hindus or Muslims. Of course, you'd have a higher incidence of non-vegetarianism in Muslims, but even Hindus, nearly all of my Hindu friends, some of my Jain relatives, most of my Sikh friends, they are non-vegetarian, and nearly every Muslim that I know, perhaps with the exception of one, is a non-vegetarian, and that is how this country is. The BJP itself, again, let me go back to the same point. This is the same BJP 2 months ago that was trying to have non-veg eating competitions. The chief ministers proclaiming that. You had union ministers roaming around with fishes in their hand. This is how this is how intrinsic non-veg is to Indian culture, Indian food. Any cuisine that you pick up, whether it is Kashmiri, whether it is Rajasthani, Awadhi, Bengali, Malayali, Tamil, you will always find non-vegetarian delicacies. They may not be delicacies for me or for Mr. Rana, but they are for a majority of the people. And this entire logic that non-veg will not be served every day, well, in my college canteen, in the hostel I'm talking about, in the hostel mess, every evening a samosa or a similar snack was served, number one. Number two, so far as my college canteen was concerned, they did serve chola bhatura every day, and other than that, it was only a vegetarian canteen and a mess in my hostel. So, but it was not the case in King George's Medical University. When they were serving non-vegetarian food, then why stop? And even if indeed you feel for whatever reason you should stop, that it is hurting the students or you can't maintain
Nikhil, all pertinent
hygiene
points, but I must ask you at
that?
this point, shouldn't universities be allowed to frame their own mess policies? I mean, if the university believes that it improves hygiene, it improves administration, it improves operational efficiency, what's stopping the university from building its own rules? And it's not stopping you from eating it. Of course, that point that you just pointed out, we'll have to wait whether we're going to do a show on that or not, but you can always step out and eat. But coming back to the university, shouldn't universities be allowed to frame their own rules?
I think universities should be allowed to frame their own rules, and I would not have the same degree of criticism had it been the case that the university had set up a panel. The panel had recommended that the mess should not serve non-vegetarian food because these are the reasons why they felt it was impractical or not good for economic reasons, hygiene reasons, whatever reasons. And then the vice chancellor would have said, okay, basis the report of this commission, we are stopping the serving of non-vegetarian food. I would not have had such a problem then. The reason I have a problem is a governor comes into a university which are supposed to be largely autonomous institutions. A governor says, "Chalo, non-veg nahi khate, achhi baat nahi hai." Then the vice chancellor of a medical university goes around touting how non-vegetarian food is so bad for hygiene, so bad for health, so bad for this, so bad for that. That is why I'm going to stop non-vegetarian food in this university where it has been going on for decades. There is no process. This is not about autonomy of the institution. If anything, it is against that. A university had a system for decades. You are changing that system not on the basis of the university's internal autonomous decision-making process, but on the mere word of an external person who also happens to be a politician from a certain ruling party. That is what is happening. It's not an internal thing.
Yes, Mr. Rana, you wanted to make a point, and again echoing from what Nikhil was talking about. India is a country with diverse food habits. Nobody can deny that. And these publicly funded institutions, expecting them to accommodate that diversity, I mean, we should all respect that, shouldn't we? Rather than restrict that diversity, we should respect that diversity, isn't it? Mr. Rana.
This question to me or?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, to you.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you hear us now in the studio? Sanjay ji, can you hear us? All right, well, that's a first. It seems like Mr. Rana can't hear us. Mr. Rana, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes, very much. Yeah.
Yeah. That question is to you. India, a country with diverse food habits. Why restrict it? Let's respect it.
Absolutely. Who's stopping? You have a right to eat. I have a right to eat. I have a right to breathe. You have a right to breathe. We are stopping each other. No. As I said in this debate, is three of us. Two of us are vegetarian. One is a non-vegetarian. I'm just assuming you are a vegetarian because of your name. Maybe you're non-vegetarian. I don't know. So please understand, when we talk about the data in which Nikhil has given 81% is occasionally. I'm a non-vegetarian once in a week. I'm a non-vegetarian once in a month. That is not called non-vegetarian.
Just a short while ago, Mr. Rana, you said that
called
61% Indians being non-vegetarian is a rubbish research. And now NFHS data has been cited by Nikhil. He says 75% Indians are non-vegetarian.
81% on what basis? Once in a month. Once in a month, I'm
But
eating
still
something.
non-vegetarian, boss. I've
I'm
never
also
had
eating egg.
non-vegetarian
I'm a
food.
vegetarian, that means. So logic is the bullshitting, because what I'm saying is the bullshitting. Every institution have a right to do it, and why we are politicizing this one? We need to understand, if he's again referring about the Bharatiya Janata Party leaders roaming around the street of West Bengal, it's a totally different. Look at the West Bengal. In the Navratri, people used to eat non-veg. But if you look at the Uttar Pradesh, in Navratri, we don't use non-veg. So we have a diversity. We in the same region. We are Hindus, but different thought process. If you look at Jain, because Nikhil is a Jaini, 92% Jainis are non-vegetarian, 8% are vegetarian. Non-vegetarian, and 92% non-vegetarian.
Breath of
What
relief
does
here.
mean? Because 8% is manipulating, 8% is driving 92%. No, Baba, it's matter of choice, what you believe and what you want to do it. Number one. Number two is institution is not personal choice. Everyone has a right to eat whatever want to eat.
I'll ask you one final question, Mr. Rana, and I think we'll wrap this up then. You see, the idea is that who finally decides what ends up on a student's plate? I mean, students should have
Is institution,
Yeah.
is college, is a policy, is a governance.
and
not
you're
governor,
absolutely right.
it's the
And why we're questioning this is that this has happened overnight. It was happening for the longest time, and now suddenly it's an all-vegetarian institution. Which is why people are questioning whether this is more about ideology and less about institution and less about logistics and refrigeration and hygiene, because the same paneer can go stale as well and give you the same kind of gastric problems as well.
I totally agree with you, Kabir. We are not debating on that part. Please, we should not look at as a political party. She was working with the Bharatiya Janata Party as a chief minister. She is the governor. She has given her viewpoint, and we need to adopt it. And why we need to adopt it? If you are a vegetarian, look at the heart attack probability goes down by 30%. Look at diabetes, goes by 20%. Look at cancer, goes by 13%. If you're adopting a good thing, what's wrong in that? That is my submission. And again, everyone has a right to eat whatever they want to eat. Number two is institution will decide what you have to eat within the premises.
Okay, you know what? I do a lot of health bulletins as well, so I'm just going to help the viewers understand here that even if you eat vegetarian food and you keep sitting on your chair the entire day, you're equally at a risk of heart attacks. You're equally at a risk of developing a cancer in your body. And you need some sort of lean meat to create the right kind of muscle, because muscle building in its own self helps alleviate many of these illnesses as well. But this debate, it's never just about a student's plate. It's also about institutional autonomy. It's about public health. It's also about personal choice and the politics that inevitably follows here. I think we haven't gotten an answer to this question, but I'm glad we were at least able to talk about this. Nikhil, many thanks for taking out the time and speaking to us. Mr. Sanjay Rana, always a pleasure to have you with us here on News9. All right, then, we're going to slip into a quick commercial breather here. On the other side, a custodial torture that's led to a death in Kanyakumari and needs your attention as well. Custodial torture is time and again becoming synonymous with the state of Tamil Nadu. And after the government has changed hands under TVK, it's the first custodial torture death case that has now come to light. And of course, DMK versus TVK, the political firestorm is brewing as well. We'll break that down for you, don't worry.
Your roots, dump in your bones, rose be your Amul, do then go for gold. आगे आगे बढ़ती है दुनिया, अमूल दूध पीती है दुनिया. The fallout from the deadly ambush on the